Hey guys, welcome. In today's video, we'll be reviewing this 2012 Volkswagen Vento. Now this car is the 1.6 liter petrol automatic, and straight away let's start with two important points. One, the Vento is actually based on the Volkswagen Polo, and while VW done an excellent job in integrating the boot, they have not done much in distinguishing the car from the Polo. The second is the car you see right now is pretty much the same car that's on sale right now in 2020 with a few cosmetic modifications and engine changes. More on that further in the video. Talking about the design, you get the big Volkswagen logo along with the twin star chrome grille. You also get the headlights, which do look quite nice with nice elements inside them, but they're all halogen units with all normal bulbs and don't stand out too much. You also get a fog light, which is quite good. Your towing hook of the vehicles over there. And let's quickly move to the side of the car. So the side profile, as you can see, is very simple, plain and elegant, as all German cars are. You get 15-inch wheels over here, which are quite small, but the design is quite upmarket and premium, I must say. The new cars get 16-inch rims which fill the wheel arches better, but regardless of whether you buy the new car or the old car, you're going to get disc brakes in the front and drum brakes at the rear. Talking about the side profile, we have a strong character line that starts the headlights, goes all the way to the tail lights and comes down to the other side of the car. That's one really nice design element. Your indicators are on the fender because it's an older car, and you get blackened elements on the B pillars as well as a small quarter glass at the rear, which does make the cabin feel more airy. You get the antenna over there, and that's pretty much all there is to talk about the side of the car. Now VW has done an excellent job in integrating the boot. I mean, you don't notice at first glance that this is actually based on a hatchback, unless of course you look at the Polo side by side. Now the rear of the car, you have Volkswagen written in full because that time VW had a lot of money for badges. You get the Vento badging on the right. The tail lamps are very simple, and in typical Volkswagen fashion you get only one reverse light, and these are not LED units unlike the modern cars. Let's quickly open the boot, and looks like you can't open the boot from outside. You require either the key or you need to open it from inside using the driver release mechanism. So we look at that little later. So guys, that sums up the rear design of the car. I mean, you get an aftermarket rear camera to aid rear visibility, and as you can see, Volkswagen has done a very simple design, and form really follows function in this car because nothing is extravagant or over the top. Let's quickly get inside and check out the interior of this car now. Alright, so opening the back door, VW has gone with a very interesting dark chocolate brown and beige color combination. Now the seats were also in the same color, but luckily here it's been upgraded to black leather, which looks much better than the weird chocolate brown combination. Now the headliner is completely beige, which gives the cabin an airy feel. You get light placement on top as well as one in the front. And the rear headrests are adjustable, but you don't get a center headrest. You do get an armrest without cup holders though. You do get rear AC vents with a single cup holder or a makeshift cup holder for your rear passengers to fight among who can use them. You have chrome door handles, and you have adjustable seat belt height in the front. You get a grab handle on both sides. Now the rear of the car is really well built. I mean, it has typical German Volkswagen quality, and you do have one party trick, and that is the ergo lever, with which you can move the front seat sitting at the back to increase your leg space as per your fancy. This is a nice feature. You also get rear seat pockets, which are umbrella holders in this car, and that pretty much sums up the rear of the car. So let's quickly check out the front seat of the car. Alright, so you have the same weird color combination of the door pads. You have your window controls there, you have your lock unlock button, your mirror controls, as well as a button to electrically release the boot. So let's quickly go check out the boot space of the car now. So the boot space is quite decent. I mean, this can easily swallow luggage for a family of 4 for a quick weekend trip, no issues at all. You also get insulation, which shows how well the Germans have put together their cars. Alright, let's quickly get inside the car now. One thing you do notice with these German cars is the absolute solidity with which the door closes. Now let's quickly turn on the car. Yeah, so the 1.6 engine has roared to life. Let's quickly check out the instrument cluster. So you have your tachometer, your speedometer and your multi-information display. The red color of the MID does look quite a bit harsh, but does give you the relevant information. The seats are quite comfortable. I mean, the leather does make it extra comfortable. And you do get your storage space in the front along with an armrest as well. The door pockets are quite big. You can hold 1 liter bottles, as you can see. Now moving to the visors are quite good. I mean, you get a toll receipt holder for the driver and a mirror for the passenger without a light, shockingly. The rear mirror is not auto dimming and it's quite small also. You get your two AC vents, you get a touchscreen system which is aftermarket, automatic climate control, two cup holders, 12-volt charging socket, your handbrake and your gear lever. Moving to the right of the steering wheel, we have your headlight controls along with the headlight adjuster. And now quickly let's talk about, just quickly check the horn of the car. Sounds quite good. You have your indicators on the left and you have your wiper controls on the right. And yeah, the steering wheel is quite simple and basic. I mean, it does not even have any steering motor controls. But hey, this car is almost 8 years old now. And thankfully all this has changed in the new facelifted cars. Let's now take a look at the engine bay of this car. And there we have it, the 1.6 litre MPI motor from VW producing 103 horsepower and 150 Nm of torque. The engine is a bit noisy but settles down beautifully inside the cabin. You can't hear anything despite having no insulation. Alright, so that's done. Let's quickly get driving and see what this car is all about. Alright guys, so driving the Volkswagen Vento. The first thing you notice when you start driving are the advantages of this car being based on the Polo hatchback. The steering is light and easy, the engine is responsive, and the gearbox also is very convenient for driving city traffic. The only disadvantages of this car being based on the Polo are the looks. From the front, apart from a slightly different grille and reprofiled bumper, it looks almost identical to the Polo, and being based on a hatchback means the cabin is not as wide as some of the competitors are. Beyond this, the Vento is an excellent C-segment sedan. The switches are really solid and have a built to last feel. The seats are comfortable and offer enough adjustment to get into a proper driving position. Visibility is great all round except for the outer rearview mirrors are a bit small, I feel, and the same goes for the internal mirror as well. But other than that, the Vento is really a solid German car to drive. The ride and handling balance is also set up excellently well. It's a bit stiff in the city but smoothens out really well at high speed, and the handling of this car is also really good. The steering does weigh up well at speed, and shifting lanes or cornering hard, you're never gonna complain in this car. Bad roads are actually the best friend of this car as it really pummels bumps and really can fly over potholes if you really want it to. That's how really rock solid the suspension is. Driving this car actually brings back memories of my friend telling me that one time when he was driving his Vento diesel, he didn't see a speed breaker and happened to go over it at over 60 kph and absolutely nothing happened to the car. I'm sure if the same had happened in any other car, it would have definitely resulted in a broken suspension or at least the car going out of alignment. But in the Vento, nothing happened. That's how solid this car is. VW has also fitted this car with a powerful automatic climate control system, and the unit is powerful enough to cool this cabin quite well. So I guess that's enough of slow driving. Time to get on the bypass and see what this engine and gearbox is all about. Getting hard onto the throttle now, the engine and gearbox really do respond very well and performance is quite brisk. As I mentioned earlier, this is a 1.6 litre engine producing 103 horsepower, 150 Nm of torque, and performance is really very good for a naturally aspirated engine of this class. The gearbox too is a 6-speed torque converter unit, and the shifts are slick, but it does feel a bit delayed when you compare it to the Honda City Automatic. I tested this car 0 to 100 kph recently, and I'll leave the link over here. Do check it out if you're not already done. And in that video, I did a small comparison between my City Automatic, the 3rd generation car, and this car. So while both cars have naturally aspirated engines and torque converter gearboxes, the City is a second faster to 0 to, in the 0 to 100 dash, but the Vento is faster when it comes to in-gear acceleration. Now why did this happen? Well, I promised to answer that question in this review. So that's because of the ways the engines and gearboxes are tuned. The City, being a VTEC motor, has a mediocre mid-range but a ballistic top end when VTEC kicks in over 4500 rpm. The gearbox also is a 5-speed torque converter unit, and it really allows you to hold the revs at the red line to extract maximum performance from the engine. This means that the 0 to 100 dash takes 11.2 seconds in second gear. Compare that to the Vento, and the engine has a different approach to how the power is delivered. It has a strong mid-range but a normal top end. The gearbox too, being a 6-speed unit, has an extra gear for cruising ability on the highway, and this means you need to go to 3rd gear to get to 100 kph. This lag, as well as the way the engine is tuned, means it takes around 12.2 seconds to go to 0 to 100, but this gives it a better in-gear acceleration time, which translates to better city performance for quick overtakes in the city. So that's the reason why the Vento is slower than the City in the 0 to 100 dash, but faster when it comes to in-gear acceleration. The Vento's gearbox also does not allow you to hold the gears till the red line and upshifts automatically even in manual mode, thus making the car slower in the 0 to 100 dash also. Finally, let's talk about the 2020 Vento. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at the history of the Vento and its competitors in India. So the Vento was launched in 2010, and at that time it was direct competition to the third generation of the Honda City, which was launched in 2008. The car was followed up with the fourth generation in 2014 and the fifth generation in 2020. Talking about the Verna, we had the Verna Transform till 2011, the fluidic Verna in 2012, and the next gen Verna in 2016. But with the Vento, we still have the same car from 2010. Yes, the Vento has gone through multiple facelifts with different engine options, ranging from this 1.6 litre petrol, the 1.6 litre diesel, the 1.5 litre diesel, the 1.2 TSI with the 7-speed DSG gearbox, and finally we again come to the 1.0 TSI with the manual and the same 6-speed torque converter gearbox. Yes, the gearbox in this car is exactly the same gearbox sold in 2020 with the 1 litre TSI engine. This is something which is not okay, and VW should definitely bring in the next gen Polo and thereby the next gen Vento instead of giving us this old product. When you compare the prices, yes, the Vento is at least 2 or 3 lakhs cheaper than its competitors, but it misses out on a lot of features. Cool seats are there in the Verna, connected car technology. Nothing is there in the new Vento. In fact, I would feel it's better to buy a used Vento, upgrade the lights, upgrade the wheels, and basically pretend to have a 2020 Vento. Nobody will know the difference. That's how dated the new Vento is, and this should not be the case. Anyway, so that's my review of the 2012 Vento, and if you ask me personally, you should only buy a used Vento because the gem of a diesel engine was there in the 1.5 and the 1.6 TDI units, which unfortunately is not there thanks to BS6 emission norms. So if you do plan to buy a Vento, pick a used one up, upgrade the lights, upgrade the wheels, upgrade some interior touchscreens and all, and make your car as better or maybe even better than the 2020 car. So guys, that's my VW Vento buying advice for the day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel too. You can check out my other reviews by clicking over here. And that's JRS Car signing off to see you in the next review. Take care, bye bye.